completed 1 semester of Japanese language school, so that's 3 months. And I just wanted to give some of the information and answer some of the questions that I had before I started. Japanese language school is exactly what it sounds like. It's a school that teaches Japanese. All they do at the school is teach Japanese. The teachers are Japanese, but all the students are from places around the world and they've come to the school to learn Japanese. So you can start as a complete beginner. I was a complete beginner. They recommend that you learn hiragana and katakana before arriving. But if you don't know those, you can still enroll in language school and start from the very beginning, which is what I did. I started trying to teach myself hiragana and katakana before I left Jamaica, but I wasn't at the point where I could confidently say that I knew it. I actually don't know if there are language school programs that are a full day, but my language school, and I think most language schools, are roughly half a day. So my mornings are free and then I have a 3-hour class in the afternoon. I wake up pretty early, so most of my day outside of school is in the morning before class. Each semester is 3 months. When you apply to the language school, they sponsor your visa. Based on the number of semesters that you've applied for, that will roughly determine the length of your visa. So I applied for 6 months of language school, and I also stated that I intended to continue beyond 6 months, and I got a year-long visa. So if I decide to stay at language school beyond the year, I will have to apply to renew the visa. But you can't extend your student visa for language school beyond 2 years. I don't think it matters what level you are at the end of those 2 years. The student visa that you get is completely dependent on language school. So it's also dependent on your attendance. You have to keep your attendance above 80%. I have actually had an experience with having to miss class because within a month of getting to Japan, I actually sprained my ankle. So I had to miss a few days of school to just go to the doctor and ensure that it was just a sprain and not a fracture or anything, and to recover at least a little before going back to school. During the days when I was at home recovering, I attended class via Zoom. However, the attendance is you physically being in class, because you have come to Japan based on wanting to go to language school when you could have been doing Zoom classes or learning online. So even though I was attending class via Zoom, those days still count as me being absent, but it's not anything that should affect my visa because it's still well above the necessary attendance rate. What happens in class? What's each class like? The classes are conducted completely in Japanese. They discourage talking in any language apart from Japanese because it's an immersion setting. The classes are pretty fast-paced and intensive, so we learn a lot in each class. When I was looking for a school, I selected one that was rated medium intensity. Language schools are known for being high intensity, fast-paced, pretty rigorous, so it's not that big of a surprise that even though my school is considered moderate intensity, that I still think the pace is fast. A rough idea of what each class is like: we start with pronunciation practice, then based on where we are in the curriculum, we'll be doing hiragana, katakana, or kanji, and every day at my school we have a quiz on writing, and once a week usually we'll have a big test at the end of the week. So after the writing portion, we'll then move on to grammar and vocabulary, which is pretty much the rest of the class, the largest portion of the class. On test days, we might learn a little something after, but it might not be something exactly from the curriculum. It might be something extra, like a lesson on what you might find in a textbook versus how it is in real life, or just something more casual related to Japanese life. We use one textbook, Mina no Nihongo. This is our textbook and the whole curriculum follows this textbook. We also use workbooks to learn the writing. So we have a hiragana and katakana workbook as well as a kanji workbook. And all of these textbooks and workbooks are sold at the school, so you can just buy them when you get there. They are affordable, much more affordable than like a university textbook, for example. or pretty much any textbook I have purchased in the past 10 years. This textbook is completely in Japanese. There is no English in the textbook at all. So you kind of have to know hiragana and katakana to use this textbook. It does have kanji, but there's furigana. So if you know hiragana and katakana, you should be okay. In each class, we also get a lot of handouts. This is my folder of handouts. This is from 3 months and it's like jam-packed. I can't really put anything else in here, so I'll have to get another one for the next semester. Every day we get homework, every single day, maybe except 1 or 2 days during the whole semester. Personally, it took me about 30 minutes to 1 hour to do the homework every day, but there were a few times where it took me up to 2 hours. There are 2 things that were major in helping me decide which school to go to. One was that I wanted a school with a more diverse student body. There are a lot of language schools made up primarily of Chinese students. Kanji is a Chinese writing system and Japan also uses kanji, although there are different pronunciations. So obviously Chinese students would have a vast knowledge of kanji before they even arrive. So for my own sake, in not feeling like I'm already playing catch up at the very beginning, I wanted to go to a more diverse school. In my class, there's me from Jamaica, and there are also students from Spain, France, the UK, Russia, the United States. There was someone from Italy, but she had to leave. Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Vietnam. Because the borders pretty much just opened right before the semester started, not everyone was able to get to school in time for the start of the semester. So we did have some people doing class through Zoom for a few weeks, but they're all here now, so we don't have any more Zoom classmates at the moment. I'm the only black person in my class, but there are other black students in my school. In terms of the distance of my apartment from the school, I don't want to give away the exact time because that with other information could like narrow down where I live or which school I'm attending. But the school is within walking distance of my apartment, and for the entire time before I sprained my ankle, I was walking to and from school every day with no issues. I can also take the bus, which cuts the time in half, but I can walk to school with no problem because it's not that far and walking is free. The only thing that would stop me from walking all the time is because it's now summer and there's like an unprecedented heat wave right now, so I don't know if I'll ever become fluent, but I want to be comfortable with Japanese for daily life, and I'm not yet comfortable with that. So in my opinion, 3 months is not enough for that. Maybe it might be for someone else. So I think I might be going to language school for maybe at least a year. My language school is about 1,400 US per semester. I know that the method of finding a language school and getting to language school, the whole process that I took, would be really helpful to share, but the route I took to get to language school is so specific that it would narrow things down a bit too much, and I don't want to give away the exact school that I'm at for safety reasons, of course. But I plan to do another video on how I found my school and the whole process of getting here and starting. So once I'm finished at this language school, I'll give all of that information. You can check out this video if you'd like to hear about my first 3 days in Japan. Thanks for watching until the end.